Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome class 7 to your physics class. We already have learned about the heat, thermometer and temperature, right? So today we are going to learn about the scales of temperature. There are three scales to measure temperature. These are Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. Celsius scale of temperature. This scale was introduced by the Swedish astronomer Anders Celsius. On this scale, the lower fixed point is taken as 0 degrees Celsius and the upper fixed point or steam point is taken as 100 degrees Celsius. The interval between 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius is divided into 100 equal divisions. Each division corresponds to 1 degree Celsius. Next is Fahrenheit scale. This scale was introduced by Gabriel Fahrenheit. On this scale, the lower fixed point or ice point is taken as 32 degree Fahrenheit and the upper fixed point is taken as 212 degree Fahrenheit. The interval between the lower and the upper fixed points is divided into 180 equal divisions. Each division is equal to 1 degree Fahrenheit. Next is Kelvin scale of temperature. This scale was introduced by Lord Kelvin. On this scale, the lower fixed point or ice point is taken as 273.15 Kelvin and the upper fixed point or steam point is taken as 373.15 Kelvin. The interval between the lower and upper fixed point is divided into 100 equal divisions. Each division corresponds to 1 Kelvin. This scale is also called absolute scale of temperature. As both Celsius and Kelvin scales are divided into 100 equal divisions, hence size of one division on Celsius scale is equal to the size of one division on Kelvin scale. Relation between Celsius and Kelvin scales. The temperature on Celsius scale can be converted into Kelvin scale by using the relationship which is K is equals to C plus 273.15, where K is temperature in Kelvin and C is temperature in degree Celsius. But for solving numericals, the value of 273.15 on Kelvin scale is taken as 273 for the sake of convenience. Relationship between Celsius and Fahrenheit scale. The temperature on Celsius scale can be converted into Fahrenheit scale by using the relationship C upon 5 is equals to F minus 32 upon 9, where C is temperature in degree Celsius and F is temperature in degree Fahrenheit. And 1 degree on Celsius scale is equal to 9 by 5 degree on Fahrenheit scale. Our next topic is effects of heat. In our day-to-day life, we come across many changes caused by heat. For example, an ice cube melts when put in a glass of water, milk boils on heating, and wet clothes get dried in air. Heat energy causes a number of changes when it is absorbed or released by a substance. So some important effects of heat are: first is change in temperature of an object. When we heat any substance like solid, liquid or gas, its temperature increases. Similarly, when we cool any substance, it gives out heat energy and its temperature falls. The increase and decrease in temperature of an object depend upon the quantity of heat absorbed or released by it. It also depends on the material of which the object is made of. Next is change of state of a substance. When we heat a solid, it melts and changes in liquids. And on further heating, when we heat a liquid, it ultimately boils and changes into vapor, or you can say gaseous state. So change of a substance from one physical state to another is called the change of state. Next is melting. Melting, the process during which a solid changes into its liquid state at a fixed temperature on heating, is called melting. The conversion of ice into water is melting. Freezing, the process during which a liquid changes into its solid state at a fixed temperature on cooling, is called freezing. The conversion of water into ice is freezing. Ice at 0 degrees Celsius on heating melts into water at 0 degrees Celsius, while water at 0 degrees Celsius on cooling freezes into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. Boiling, the process during which a liquid changes into its gaseous state at a fixed temperature on heating is called boiling. The conversion of water into steam is boiling. Condensation, the process during which a gas changes into its liquid state at a fixed temperature on cooling is called condensation. The conversion of steam into water is condensation. Evaporation, the process during which a liquid changes into its gaseous state at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. Drying of clothes under the sun is an example of evaporation. Sublimation, the process during which a solid directly changes into its gaseous state on heating is called sublimation. For example, dry ice. It is a frozen form of carbon dioxide. When dry ice exposed to air, it directly changes from solid state to gaseous state. Next is deposition, the process during which a gas directly changes into its solid state on cooling is called deposition. For example, frost forms on a leaf. Next is change in dimension of an object. When an object, solid, liquid, or gas, is heated, it expands. All the substance, whether solid, liquid, or gas, expands on heating and contract on cooling. When an object expands, it means its length, area, and volume increases. Similarly, when an object contracts, its length, area, and volume decreases. Thermal expansion, the expansion of a substance on heating is called thermal expansion. Types of thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is of three types. First is linear expansion, second superficial or area expansion, and third is cubical or volume expansion. Now, what is linear expansion? The increase in the length of an object, like a metal rod on heating, is called linear expansion. Superficial or area expansion, the increase in the surface area of an object, like a metal sheet on heating, is called superficial or area expansion. Volume expansion, the increase in the volume of an object, like a block on heating, is called cubical or volume expansion. Thermal expansion in solid. We know a solid has a definite shape and its particles are closely packed. The force of attraction between the molecules is very strong. So when we heat a solid, they expand in all directions. Practical application of thermal expansion in solid. First is an iron rim. When an iron rim is heated before being fitted on the tire, the resulting expansion enables the rim to be slipped easily over the wheel. Next is a small gap are left between the railway track to accommodate the expansion of the metal during summer. Next is sagging of telephone and electric wires. When telephone and electric wires are fixed between poles, they are left a little loose in summer. This is done to prevent them from breaking due to tightness when they contract in winter. Next is construction of bridge. Iron or steel girders are used in the construction of a bridge. So one end of the girders is fixed in the thick cemented concrete pillar, but the other end is left free and placed on rollers. Due to any rise or fall in temperature, the girder roll over the rollers without damaging the supporting pillars. Next is thermal expansion in liquids. Liquid do not have definite shape, but they have definite volume. Thus they only show expansion in volume. In liquid, particles are less tightly packed, so on heating they vibrate more vigorously. Hence a liquid expands more than a solid. Application. Practical application of thermal expansion in liquid. While filling the medicine bottles, appropriate space is left in them. This is done to allow the liquid medicines to expand when they are sent to hot countries or regions. Now, thermal expansion in gases. Gases have indefinite shape, indefinite volume, and their particles are loosely packed. Hence, force of attraction between the molecules of the gas is negligible. So, gases expand more than solids and liquids on heating. Practical application of thermal expansion in gases is in hot air balloon, the air inside the balloon expands. Due to heating, the air arises into the balloon and pushes the cooler air out. Thus, the balloon gets filled with hotter, expanded air. As the air inside the balloon is less dense than the outside, so the balloon rises up in the air. This is the end of your Unit 2 course. Now what you have to do, you have to read the whole chapter very thoroughly and do the exercises. Your Unit Test 2 course is still here only.